Look at me skip a rock, right? I'm not gonna go like this. It's here. It's here. As my dad always told me, I'm keeping a knife to my temple, okay? Never letting my head charge it. You know, if I'm facing Kevin and I don't use my arms at all, I'm sorry, my body at all. Like, this is me literally not turning my hips at all. This is just my arms. That's gonna be probably 305 yards with just my arms and hands. Yep.
Just teach me how to do that. Yeah.
But you know, you get people to tell you to rotate your hips first, and you want to know what that looks like? Let's show you what that looks like. The opposite. There it is. You ever seen that shot before?
Oh yeah.
It's a huge misconception. That's why best year of golf ever played, Tiger Woods in 2000, literally felt like he kept his back to the target the entire time in the downswing.
Ole swing?
Yes.
I go, ole.
That's the lay the shaft down 16th tee Players Championship, right?
Yeah, and that's just because of a product of being a junior golfer. All junior golfers fire their hips hard, get the club stuck from the inside so they can flip it, hit the ball long ways. Yeah, you hit the ball long ways, but it's hard to control.
Allow this long club, this club that's an outside horse swinging around our body, right? Nothing changes here other than the setup and the sequence. 2 S's, setup and the sequence. I love showing people this one right here because this is me literally not rotating my body at all and just swinging my arms and hands. People think that hand speed doesn't play a role in the golf swing. It's the most important thing when it comes to hitting a driver, okay? Or it comes to hitting any club for that matter. You know, think about what lag is. People that don't have it, lag is the club head lagging behind your hands. So if your hands don't have speed, how do you create lag? So when you guys watch me hit a golf ball with a driver, my hands are incredibly fast relative to my body's rotational speed. Pay attention to my hands, and I'm not really all the way loose, but watch the hands. You can see my hand speed moves, it goes. And that's a misconception that people have. People think, you know, they're gonna rotate with this long club being behind me, and it's somehow gonna catch up. So what's really important to understand, you guys, is this. Everybody come around the front of me here, because this is really important to see from the face-on view. If you look at my ball position, many would see that to be off my left instep. That's relative to my feet. Ball position's not relative to my feet, it's relative to my body. So when you look at my body, I'm knowing that it's off my left shoulder. Think about a driver that has a very little loft on it. If the club's back here and my arm extends, that's not going to be good. That's not going to arrive with the loft it needs. I need to be catching it where my arm fully extends and the club gets that loft, which is why it's important to play it off my left shoulder, okay? So when you look at where I'm setting up, I happen to have the insides of my feet aligned with the outsides of my shoulders, which is why the ball position would then be off the outside of my left shoulder. Now, if you look at my head, it stays back here throughout the swing. Okay? There's no lateral movement. So watch my head. Okay? Most people, what they do, and I want you guys to understand this, they laterally move ahead of it, or they rotationally move ahead of their arms and hands, both causing big outright shots that slice off the planet. You also can catch the club up and it smother hooks, you know, and goes low left, okay? So it's really important to understand I'm doing 2 things here. I'm changing my setup to hit up on the ball for me. I have a wide stance, I have the ball forward ahead of the top of the pendulum, and I'm doing 2 things in my swing, even more so with this club than I am with any other club in the bag. I'm staying centered. As my dad always told me, I'm keeping a knife to my temple, okay? Never letting my head charge it, okay? And the next thing is, I'm making sure the sequence. I'm keeping my back to the target longer. Watch, I will keep my back to the target a really long time on this one. And look where I finished still. I'm still finishing forward. I'm still finishing through the golf ball. It's just that I'm not out ahead of it, okay? And that's the part that when you understand, when I'm here, my back to the target is just getting my arms down in front of me, but look at, they're still in front of my sternum. That's still connected so that everything can go through together. If I leave the bat on my shoulder once again and I go into it laterally, or I go into it rotationally, the bat's way open, it's going to go to right field. Think about this. If I move left and I shift my hips and I slide ahead of the golf ball, what that's equivalent to, if you ever played baseball, it's equivalent to you thinking that the pitch is at fastball and it's a changeup. The reason why a changeup is such a great pitch is that the batter thinks it's a fastball and they get all their weight to their front foot and they're ready to hit it and they realize the ball is still 10 feet away from them because it's coming in at 78 miles per hour or 80 something miles per hour, not 95, right? And then all of a sudden they're on the front foot, nowhere to go. Okay, so me staying on the inside of my back foot, I'm a little more left here, on the inside of my back foot, watch, I keep the pressure back here. I keep it back here longer. And then I go into it. And that's the one right there that squares up nicely like that and goes down the line. Any movement forward, any rotational movement ahead of it, high right all day long, okay, or big slice or low left pull. And the reason why they can be one and the same, that typically unwinds and gets it steep. The face stays open, you cut across it, it bleeds off this way. Sometimes you flip it just enough and square it up and then it just traps it real low left, okay? But staying centered helps get the club back in the slot and then down the line. Keeping my back to the target and getting my arms going also gets the golf club back down on the right path so that I can unwind. If I close the gap down between my body and the ball and my hands are up here while doing so, they shoot out. And that's where the club swipes across the golf ball. That's what we were just talking about. You know, the upper body turns, closes the gap, and the hands don't come right back down. That's why, you guys, it's kind of incredible, right? When I do this, and you actually see what it's like when I really speed my hands up and don't turn my chest at all, and I literally just go. Like, that's just, you know, look at my body is facing you guys still. That's just all my arms and hands hitting that golf ball. It's crazy, right? And it just shows you it's a tremendous amount done with this. My arms and hands are going about 30, 35 miles per hour in that range, isolated of my body's rotational speed. Okay, so there's no way in the world, like my dad was talking about, like we talked about earlier, for that 6 feet of distance that the arms and hands have to travel to be made up by simply turning these out ahead. Now watch, if you watch my hips, I'll hit a normal drive here, not trying to do anything. Watch my hips. They're gonna fly through, but just watch my arms and hands move with them. But it's understanding the sequence. It's understanding what you each individually need to feel in order to create it, okay? So I'm really focused on the right width of stance, the right ball position. Then I'm focused on everything back together, and I'm really thoughtful of staying centered and making sure my arms and hands are aggressive with my driver. Okay, if you guys can be centered and have the arms and hands initiate that downswing a little bit more, which is what all my better players feel, you're gonna see and be surprised real quickly about how much better you're gonna hit it. You know, and yeah, so I mean, you guys, well, look at this. I mean, look at me skip a rock, right? I'm not gonna go like this. It's here. It's here, right? That's where that speed comes from. So when I get in here, I really feel that from the top of my swing, my right elbow is like moving past me. I was telling the guys inside there that, you know, I used to wear out little holes right here on my sweaters because my elbow would always go past me like that. Hogan used to wear out his cardigans. But, you know, I like to hit a little cut on the golf course because it's controlled. So it's like, you know, here's my elbows and hands moving past me, opening up as much as I can. And that's the ball flight I'll hit out in the golf course. See how it just tips a little bit to the right? And it's just easy to control. That thing will hit the ground and go another 50 yards too. So, cool. All right, everybody, let's get in here. Good setup, width of stance, ball position. Really focus on staying centered, getting the arms and hands moving from the top of the swing.
At Forzak Golf, we take a lot of pride in having developed some of the best and most consistent golf swings on the planet. We do this through simplicity. Our Full Swing Masterclass will take you on a step-by-step, easy-to-understand process on how to get your golf swing better than ever. Join the many before you who've utilized our Full Swing Masterclass to take their games to the next level and beyond.